Take you through some recent work I've done on the launchpad, which is an 8x8 grid that Novation puts out. That a lot of people use as an Ableton controller. You can use it as a drum pad. I have configured it to be used as a kind of guitar-like instrument, which you see a visualization of on screen. And I have some ideas to make more complex UIs. And one of the things I was kind of struggling with was how do I make a UI that's not just limited to the launchpad, that also it can be used on screen, but that works very well with the launchpad. And what I thought is of actually using an on-screen representation of a launchpad that is both an output, a display of what's happening in the launchpad, but also an input where you can produce the same kind of results as you would with the launchpad with a browser. So I'm going to demonstrate that for you today and take you through some of the same things that I did last week. So for example, I'm just talking you through how to make a chord, and I was making a chord, and then what I was saying was, okay, that bottom row is like a string. You really can't play 3 notes on a string with a guitar. So I was talking you through walking it up, and then walking this up an octave, and you can see the pattern that I'm making in real time. And then last week I was talking you through strings that you don't play, not being hit, and then about these open strings being hit. So for example, I can make a chord like that, and suddenly it becomes very clear. These are the open, and this is your second fret. So just as a tool to show people what you're doing, it's very nice. And especially if you have a young one like I do who loves to whack on things, you can see you get a lot more visual feedback on what you're doing, which I think is fun. But the other thing is that you can also input notes, play notes by clicking on screen. So for example, this is me clicking on the launchpad, and this is me clicking the same note with a mouse. And there are ways to hold the notes, but in general, when you let off with the mouse, it lets up. And I'll work on making that a bit easier, but you can already do things like I'm playing one note with the mouse and one with the launchpad. So for example, I could play kind of collaboratively with another person if I wanted to. My idea here is that by unifying on the way the launchpad looks and as an input, you could do things like represent steps in a sequence, levels on a mixer, in various UIs, and have them controllable either on screen or through the Novation. So this is kind of where I'm going to focus for my next couple projects, just because it's really a pretty expressive device and actually pretty affordable. So I thought it would be fun to kind of expand that work a little bit. So I hope you enjoyed what I have today, and I look forward to showing you more later.